Hey, hey, hey. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, we did not have a Pokemon session today. Ponk informed me earlier that not only was it his son's first birthday, but that his in-laws showed up and we're going to be spending the night. So he wasn't going to have access to the room that he usually uses for for gaming. So this is fine. We'll hook up next week and we will pick up right where we left off. Oh God. Oh, I am not doing this. Let's go back the way we came. Yo, what's up, real work? If you see something suspicious, say something suspicious. There's my other window. There we go. Huh. Okay. I don't think I can do anything here right now. These doors are all just like unpowered, so I can't open them. Unless there's... Unless there's like a spot above or below a door that I can get open. There's like a way to get through. Okay. Let's say there's a way to get through over there, but I don't know. I guess I just didn't shoot everywhere. Oh boy. Touch fuzzy, get dizzy. Holy crap. My god, these fucking acts. Just get over here. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, Christ. Got the race channel opened up. We'll see if anybody shows up. Tube? Was that the SAX back there? Oh, there's Telemorph. Nice. Oh god, he's big. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, I'm still messing messing around with the video settings on this capture device. Don't know exactly what I've got to do to get it to look just right. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh my god, I almost got a 44. So earlier today, I was messing around a little bit more with Final Fantasy III, and I went and I looked some stuff up. Because I'm kind of thinking about doing a second playthrough because there are specifically 2 items that I missed on my initial playthrough, and you are locked out of getting those items at a certain point. You need to have a specific person following your party around, and I didn't get those items, so I'm locked out of getting them. So if I at least want to get that achievement, then I need to do a full second playthrough. And I was just kind of thinking, okay, what can I do to make a second playthrough interesting? Because my first playthrough, I went from Monk to Red Mage, back to Monk, back to Red Mage, then into Dragoon, and then I just kind of beat the game with Dragoons. So I'm not really sure what I would do for a second playthrough. I was tentatively thinking about just doing an Onion Knight playthrough. I mean, I'm gonna have to use magic at some point because there are dungeons that make you use Mini and Frog. So, I mean, you have to use magic at some point in that game. But the other thing I noticed is that the Onion Knight stat growth really sucks at the beginning of the game. Towards like their top end, Onion Knight stat growth is ridiculously good, and you end up maxing out all your stats. The only thing is, their best equipment is a bunch of rare and uncommon drops from really hard enemies in the final dungeon of the game. Well, in one of the final dungeons of the game, I should say. So I messed around a little bit with my file that had already beaten the game, just to see what the drop rates were like on these rare and uncommon drops. And no, dude. Maybe if I was trying to get like one Onion Knight through the game, maybe. But if I'm trying to get 4 Onion Knights through the game and I'm trying to get the strongest gear, nope, that's way too many rolls of the dice. And it's not a common enemy in that area either. It's the yellow, green, and red dragons that show up on floors like 5, 6, and 7. I think yellow shows up on 5, green shows up on 6, and red shows up on 7. And again, they're not even the most common enemies. So you're fighting a whole bunch of other shit. And then you're rolling the dice to get the right encounter. And then you're really rolling the dice to get the uncommon or rare drops. And it's just too many small odds stacked on even more small odds. So don't exactly know what I'm going to do to make a second playthrough of that game interesting. I was thinking maybe I could just take, like, my original party from Final Fantasy, from my first playthrough, from FF1, and try to see if I could get them through in FF3. But that was 2 knights, a white mage, and a black mage. I don't see much of a challenge in that. Not saying I'm looking specifically for a challenge with a second playthrough, but I'm looking for a second playthrough to be different than the first. But I don't know how different I can make it without making it into some kind of a challenge, because basically I played as a really strong character, as a group of really strong characters, as monks. They would just punch the crap out of everything. Then I'd switch to Red Mage when I needed to use magic. Then I went to Dragoon. Got him. I went to Dragoon just because it was pumping out even more damage than the monks with the jump attack. So I don't exactly know what the solution would be. Maybe I could do something similar to what I've seen people do with Final Fantasy V. And do some kind of 4-job fiesta where I'm forced into using only a small handful of the jobs. I don't know. Yeah, buddy, here we go. If I'm remembering right from Threads of Fate, this is like the music that plays during the bad guy cutscenes. The other thing I need to do in FF3 is actually figure out where a bunch of the map locations are. So there's the Steam achievement for going to every single map location. While something like that might be a bit easier in FF1, I think I ended up having a lot of map locations that I have not yet been to by the time I got to the end of FF3. So I may have to look up if there's like some kind of app that I need to use for a 4-job fiesta, or if there's some kind of possibly even a randomizer for FF3. I don't know if we've got randomizers for the Pixel remasters yet. That'd be kind of cool, though. I'm also not really super familiar with all of the jobs in FF3 just yet. I'm familiar with a couple of them, just from the little bit of time I spent trying to max out some of the job levels on my completed file. The other thing I can do is possibly go back a little bit in the VOD history of my dude PJ DeCaesar, because I know he's been playing FF3 for a while. Let's see some of the stuff that he's been doing. Not really sure how I feel about the idea of like a solo challenge, like a solo character challenge. That seems like it might be pushing it a bit far. Here we go. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to hop onto one of the wikis and take a look at all of the different jobs that are offered. Also, the amount of automatically generated names in FF3 doesn't seem like it's as big of a pool of names as FF1. Okay, crabs. At some point, I am going to need to play the 3D version of Final Fantasy III, because I do have it. And from everything I've been reading, it's different enough from the Pixel remaster that it's, you know, kind of its own thing. Even if it has a lot of similarities, it's still different enough. Because when I was using the monk as my main class, it literally just became, okay, I will punch this boss into a million pieces for, like, everything. Even when it felt like I was not necessarily doing things out of order, but I was doing things that were out of order of how I wanted to do them. You know, like I had kept saying to myself, I want to go back to the floating continent and I want to do a couple things while I'm there. Only to accidentally get too close to a city and get my airship blown up. And I was like, well, shit, I guess I'm doing this for now. That's got him. The other thing is, like, I tried to keep, in my initial playthrough of FF3, I tried to keep everyone's experience level the same. Meaning I, you know, kept everybody alive through all the battles. It was only in the final dungeon that, I had to start eating some deaths, because I didn't have any more Phoenix Downs, I didn't have any more potions or elixirs, and I just had to take what the game was giving me. And I didn't even have to max out my level in order to beat the final boss. I did have to maximize my job level. But that happened relatively quickly. There we go. I, of course, started up my playthrough of Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster, which has been a lot of fun so far. think in the next session, we're going to have to do the stuff in... Oh, what's the name of that town? Where you get Realm and Strago. I think that's Tamasa? It's another part of the world of balance that I'm not completely familiar with. That was one of the reasons why when I was without a computer for a little while, one of my major time sinks was one of the very few full game randomizer ROMs that I had for FF6. So while it's only been a couple years since the last time I played the full game, still had some randomizer bits going on. I think, if I'm remembering right, one of the things that I can do in Narsh at this point in the game is I'm pretty sure I can get Mog. So I want to make sure I get him. And I want to make sure that I get all of the dances from the World of Balance. Because I know a lot of them you can get in the World of Ruin, but there's a couple that are... There's like one or two that you can only get in the World of Balance. So I'm gonna have to double check which ones those are. I want to say it's like the plains and the snowfield. It's like Snowman Jazz. I mean, again, I don't know. I don't remember. So this is why I'm going to have to look them up. I just remember the fact that some can be unintentionally skipped. It's an up input, I guess. Yeah, I think we're probably close enough in FF6 that the next session will probably be the last one in the World of Balance, unless I decide to take my time doing something. Boy, only thing I know about White Knight Chronicles is it has some good music in it. Wonder what kind of game it is. And then there's a Goemon game. Also been I've also been checking out some of Used Pizza's streams over the past couple days. He's been doing another one of his pizza fests. He was playing some Banjo-Kazooie ROM hack that looked pretty interesting. I think it was yesterday he was playing Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings on the Wii. And the game actually looks like pretty good. Like, gameplay-wise. Graphics are a subjective thing. But the gameplay, especially on the Wii version, looked pretty interesting and pretty varied. There's only ever been one Indiana Jones game that I myself played a good amount of, and that was The Last Crusade, the LucasArts point-and-click adventure, and I never made it very far in that game. I think I got to I don't even think I made it a third of the way into that game. And it had this this boxing mechanic in the game that I could never really get my head wrapped around. It's also not really a game that I've ever had the strong inclination to try to go back to. I definitely remember seeing ads in like Electronic Gaming Monthly back in the day for Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings. So I may have to try and track that game down on PS2 at some point. Someone said in his chat that they saw it on Amazon for like $7. But earlier today, I was watching Used Pizza play through Bubsy 3D, and well, it was a donation incentive, so I can't really say I feel bad for him, but at the same time, he did make himself play Bubsy 3D. He was playing some other game, I think sometime last week. I don't remember what the name of it was. It was some PS1 game that I've never seen before, but it looked really interesting. It's like, I think the game had Wonder in the title. Like Wonder Quest or Wonder something. Thanks, Spin Jump. What the fuck? Space Jump, even. Also found that someone that I've been watching music reaction videos from for a little while now also has a movie and gaming channel. So I was watching her the other night reacting to Jaws for the first time. That was some fun. What? Ugh. And although it wasn't over the past week. It was maybe a week or two ago by now. Finally got around to watching that video talking about Super ZSNES, which is very exciting. I'd be very interested to see some of the additional graphical features splattered onto Super Metroid. Shit. Cerulean Umber. Discover the Umber difference. Yeah, usually Umber is always burnt. That's the only color name I can think of that uses umber is burnt umber. You know, Machinarium. Umber is a natural earth pigment consisting of iron oxide and manganese oxide. Earthy tones. Mona Lisa has presence of umber. Oh, I'm sure. If Bob Ross taught me one thing, it's that there's color names out there that I had never even heard of. Whoop. Stop now before I fall into an umber rabbit hole. I'll If I know one thing about this game I'm playing now, it's that Telomorph should be finishing up pretty soon. It's usually on my run from killing Ridley up to G4 that everybody else that I race against finishes. I just haven't seen the dot done yet. He is escaping? Yeah, that's what I figured. Again, I'm like 10 minutes behind everybody I race against. That's just the way it is. There it is. Telomorph taken first with a 46.54 GG. There's also something I was watching earlier today. From those good old dopes at the Yogscast. I don't know if it's just a mod for Minecraft or if it's a bunch of command block trickery. But they were playing basically Mario Party in Minecraft. Help, I can't get out. So that looked pretty interesting. One of these days, I'm gonna have to get myself a Microsoft account and buy myself Minecraft all over again. Mostly because I want to get back to some of those mod packs that I was having fun with. And the old Complete the Monument adventure maps that I liked. It's not going to run on Windows 7, is it? That I don't know. But again, I've got this here laptop that is, if I'm remembering right, I think I'm running Windows 11. I think Windows 7 was what I was using on my PC. Also, hello Firebat, how's it going? No, I went with... I went with a laptop that I could afford at the time, which was like $400 some odd. And just went with whatever was already installed on it. The only reason I remember that I'm on Windows 11 is because I just recently had to do some kind of update. See, for every crappy old netbook or laptop that I've ever had, Minecraft would work. That's the home button. Sometimes I would have to be on like low render distance in order to get competent frame rates. But I mean, like, that's how I started playing the game. It was with a low render distance. It did used to be a Java app. Again, it was a beta version of the game where they changed like how Minecraft starts and like how Minecraft operates. I think it was like beta 1.7.4 where they moved it to like the same kind of startup that you have to go through when you're opening a multiplayer server. You can only run it on settings that makes everything look all blocky. Which is funny, because I was just recently watching a video showcasing a bunch of mods to try and make Minecraft look as realistic as possible. And you can get some pretty good results. I didn't turn screw attack off. We got through. Did I turn my suits back on? I did. And see, the thing is, I remember back when I used to watch a lot more Minecraft content creators, they would always do videos talking about like what was new and what was different in every upcoming update for Minecraft. And the move from 1.7.3 to 1.7.4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not charging these shots long enough. I'll get back to my thought in a second. Yeah, the jump to 1.7.4 was when I started hearing these guys talking about and utilizing the phrase single player servers. These are people that know far more about the technical side of things than I ever could hope to. And I'm hearing these people talking about single player servers. And that's when I noticed that Minecraft, even on my netbook on low render distance, or on my brother's laptop with better render distance, just started playing like absolute garbage. Just the latency and lag and every other bad thing that can happen to a video game because of it trying to do too much. But one of the things about modern Minecraft, at least if I'm remembering right, is that you can choose to play in the old beta versions of the game. And even on my old PC, I was noticing when I was trying to play the game in 1.7.3, it was, even then, it was still running a lot better than trying to run the newest version of the game. 55.49. Not bad. It's probably going to be a really low 58. And if I'm remembering right, beta 1.7.3 is when a lot of the adventure maps that I like playing through were from that era. Like before enchanting became a thing in Minecraft. Frame the frames. Yeah, that's that's how old the adventure maps are that I'm talking about that I like playing through. I've name dropped them in the past, but Vex's Super Hostile series are the ones I'm talking about, and I've played a couple of them on stream, but it's been a long time ago by now. Get me in there. 5802. GG. I think the ones I played through were Gift, Sunburn Islands, and Kaizo Caverns. And it was during my playthrough of Kaizo Caverns that my computer started having its issues. I was able to bring it back for just long enough to, like, finish up that map. But then it had the big issues. Hey, Tillamorph, thank you for the GG. Frame the frames, save the frames. Frame the saves. Ugh. I guess the other thing that I've been watching has been more of ASL. So they moved into the round of 4. Which I think they've gotten. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've. Well, hell, if they were in the round of 4, then they've definitely got their final matchup. I think it's Soma against Flash. That sounds right. I think Soma and Flash both went 4-0 in the round of 4. Just made their opponents look silly. Air Force. Flash gonna go out with a bang. I mean, hasn't he said that he was gonna retire in the past? I seem to remember that being something that casters were talking about. I mean, if it's really gonna be his last ASL, then I'm glad he's made it as far as he has, but I don't know if StarCraft is really something you retire from. Unless he's just gonna retire from playing video games in general. He's been through multiple surgeries and still has problems. Well, that changes things. I didn't know about that. I don't really I don't follow StarCraft in depth. I really just I watch the leagues every once in a while, but yeah, to retire from competition, I can see that. How do I spell? There we go. All right, now where the fuck was I in this game? Stage 4, P97. I have Ice Sword. I seem to remember that I had like just opened up a new area. There's this area off to the right. Just another healing pool? Yeah. And then is there anything up here? Master of the universe. How strong are you? Can you ride the clouds to the heavens? Bitch. Got him. Box. Power fan. Save because I now have power fan. Which means that's probably an item that I need to use to get access to one of these places. Most of the items in this game have been like that. Mega Man 2, the Power Fighters. Oh boy. Boy, that guy did more damage than I thought he would. Okay, so I can't go down there. I have to go around and outside of it. Puka Puka. Orphan. Oh. The tornado is blowing. All right. Oh no. Oh god, is this a teleporter maze? Kinda looks like a teleporter maze. Is this the casino? Welcome to Curly's Casino. Hey, it is. Let the good times roll. I don't know if I actually need to do anything at the casino. I'm gonna see if there's something I can do on this crazy island first. Besides get my ass kicked by fish. Oh god, just get me out of here before I die. I remember now. I got down stab and I need to go back to basically every level that I've been to. Come on, Higgins. Come on, Higgins. You need a Master Higgins. Especially if you're going to adventure on an island. I exclusively adventure on islands. There you go. Hello? Why did I get massive speed boost? What? Then what the fuck is the point of down stab if it can't break these blocks? It can only break like certain of these blocks? I thought this was about to be the grand backtrack. think there was some other blocks on a different island that were similar to that. Boa Boa. Okay. I need to find downstab plus. Hmm. Okay. Not really sure where else I can go, though. Unless I need to use, like, the original sword for breaking blocks. Like, silver sword, because it says it destroys most rocks. So I'm wondering if that's what I need. Looks like no. Hmm. Then I know I was just here, but there was nothing... I don't think there's anything more to do there. There's spikies. Do I need to let that bird drop bombs onto these rocks? Oh, well, I cast magic. The only other thing that's open to me right now is the casino. Flash and cash, moneymaker, run for dough. How to play. Pretty sure fast forward on an emulator is infinite money. Not sure what that means. Two, one, sure. I got 6. So I technically won. Hold down some keys and press fast forward for a while and just wins enough to make more money than you lose. So is that like just bet on everything? Like I'm just not understanding it in the context of this particular game. Like, do I just bet a whole bunch on 20? Or do I just bet a whole bunch on 2? And then fast forward from that point? I've got fast forward. Anyways, let's see what the other games are. Also, I'm not exactly sure what I need money for. This is what I need money for. So I can get light sword. Holy shit! That's a lot of money. Sorry, mate, you're a bit short of change. $99.50 for the light shield. What about for the armor? $29,975. Moneymaker. How to play. Winnings depend on what's on the pay line. Decide which line to bet on by using the up key. Push any button to start. Oh, it's a slot machine. Now, I could probably fast forward like fucking crazy on this one. Not going to. I want to see what this last game is. Because even though it said I got a couple of lines on that one, I don't know if it actually gave me any money. Guess who will be the baddest of them all? Use the D-pad to choose your beast and up-down to place your bet. Oh, it's monster racing. Bowser face. Go Penguin. No, god damn it, Penguin. Go Penguin. Penguin. Goal. Yeah, we did it. All right. Still keeping an eye on my time. So what? Let's just bet like 10 on 4. Or do I just bet like 10 on everything? Kind of seems like I should bet 10 on everything. Not exactly sure about fast forwarding on this since I have to go back and replace all of my bets. Might have to be something that I look up. See if the light equipment is actually something that I 100% need. Or if I'm just being dumb and there's something I'm not doing or thinking about. If I can't get into that Y-shaped area of the continent to the north, which is really making me start to think that I do need to grind for money to at least get the light sword. Not really sure that's something I want to do without knowing that it's something that I need to do. Okay. Oh. Oh. Okay. I saw a thing. All I needed to do was check a world map. There is a location I have not yet been to. And it's the location that I need to go to. And I do need to do it relatively quickly, because I'm sure one of us is going to be opening a race channel before I know it. That guy does a lot of damage. It's like I went up here and I got the power fan, and I instantly just like instantly left. But the funny thing is, I should have gone left, and I would have found the thing that I need. It's in here. The shovel. Sure to take off your armor, shield, and items when using it. Why? So I don't get, like, dirt in my armor? Seems arbitrary. But we got the thing. So I need to save. And now the grand backtrack can truly begin. Shovel. Yeah, I looked in one of the level maps, and then I looked back at the world map, and I was like, oh, I see what's going on now. Poka poka. Alright, I don't have a shield. Got no armor. And shovel. There we go. Life bottle. I'm sure there's more than just that one spot on Poca Poca. I want to get to a couple different places. Yeah, like all the islanders got together and just decided, yeah, let's take our one shovel and let's hide it so that no one can dig. This looks like another shortcut. Into Ice World. Dude, what the shit? Penguin. Then this just leads back out here. Oh. Magic bottle, snowball in the face. Fuck these guys. I built a whole casino without shovel technology. That's why everything costs so damn much money to trade out for. I can actually make a little bit of progress in Puka Puka here. Enemy clam. Enemy starfish. Oh, now I either need something to let me dive, or I need to get at that area from the other side somehow. Talk to me. You're a real character to reach this point. Hit his feet while his head is up. Oh, Christ. Nope, magic. Does that take me all the way back? I think that takes me all the way back. Yes, it do. Okay, now we go on the top one. Oh, that's right. Downstab works on those. We might need to go turn star blocks back on. Yep, need to turn star blocks back on. Oh, and I need upstab for this one. Alright, well, that got fat thumbed. This is fine, though. Should probably just get back out on the overworld and save the game. some more requests put into Rainwave. And let's check for races. No races in progress. All right, we got necessary items in Super Higgins. But we still have lots to do in that game. Anyways, I'll be right back. All right. Get ready to get ready. Hmm. This is the Empress of Light theme? You know, whenever I play Terraria, I don't usually play with my headphones on, so I don't always hear the music. Or I only hear, like, little bits and pieces of it. Well, for whatever reason, the last time I played Terraria, I had my headphones on, and the build-up to the fight with Moonlord is so much scarier with headphones on, when you can actually, like, hear the music. Because for like 5 or so seconds, all the music just completely cuts out. Oh god, Floating Continent. That's gonna be a trip. Now that I remember that Floating Continent is a thing in FF6, I don't know that we're gonna be getting to World of Ruin in the next session. I might save Floating Continent for the session after that. Have good luck, fun! Thank you, Firebat. Same to you. Race will begin. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. I might have gone a half second early. Like that fucking matters. I remember one time when my brother and I were on a road trip. First of all, I should mention, we had a very kind of DIY setup for being able to play Super Nintendo games while we were in the car on long road trips. Because this is well before cars had built-in entertainment centers. So we had to find some adapters that would let us plug a small 9-inch TV and the Super Nintendo, into the adapter and then into the cigarette lighter in the car. So we're in this minivan in the third row of seats, all the way in the back. We've taken out the middle 2 seats, 4251. And we've got this 9-inch television and the Super Nintendo in the car with us on this 2 or 3 hour long road trip. Again, well before anybody else was talking about having TVs in their car. This is, something we had to figure out for ourselves. But, this is why we recorded a bunch of episodes of Saturday Anime. This is why we recorded episodes of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Because we would frequently go on these road trips. And, we could only get so much It only gets so much use out of the Game Boys. So, one thing my brother and I would do, we had a save file that was at the floating continent, and we would do what we called a world tour. You know, we'd take two of our favorite characters, and you know, we'd have him controlling his two favorites, have me controlling my two favorites, and we would basically like backtrack all the way back to Narsh and then visit like every location in the order that you visited them in the course of playing the game. Hence, the world tour. You know, we'd go back to as many places as we could. I don't know if you can get back into the Magitech factory at that point, because I think Vector is just sealed off by the Guardian at that point. But that was a thing that we did a couple times. We enjoyed that. Whoop. Your favorites being Gao and Mog, leaving a very boring session. Yeah, I'm trying to remember who we both picked. And I don't remember exactly. I seem to think that I picked Setzer and maybe Edgar and Sabin. Although I think Setzer and Cyan, now that I think of it, would probably be the two that I would pick back in the day. I think my brother probably would have taken Locke and maybe Terra. You know, she has Morph at that point. See, I don't think my brother or I, as kids, really liked Gao. Because the one save file that we had on the cartridge for the longest time that was right at the end of the game, we had every party member except for Gao. So it was actually like a really long time before I saw the ending cutscene of the game with Gao in the party. Otherwise, it's just like, here's a picture of Gao's, you know, like his face shot, and then like a slow scrolling shot of some black and white footage, either of the Veld or somewhere in Kefka's tower, I don't remember exactly. We just never did it. I don't know why. I mean, we obviously didn't need him, because everybody else was so strong. But yeah, I just don't think either one of us liked him that much. Oh man, there was another save file that we had on that cartridge. Um, we agreed that we were going to attempt to name every single playable character after a brand name of hand soap. I seem to remember we got through a lot of them, but I don't know how far that playthrough actually got. But I definitely remember that being a naming scheme that we decided on and thought was really funny. I guess it wouldn't have been just hand soap. Like hand soap, dish soap. Stuff like Dial and Ajax. And since we had like, I think, what, 6 characters to deal with? We got through a bunch. And then we had another save file on that cartridge that was the President Buys Soap. We had another save file on that cart. I'm pretty sure is actually still on that cartridge. That just had like random ass dumb names. Like we named Cyan Mr. Man. I think we named Realm Water. I think Locke might have been Pickle. But yeah, I'm almost positive that save file still exists on my cart. Because a lot of my Super Nintendo games are the same carts that I've had since childhood. I've only had to re-buy a couple that I had as a kid, I should say. And then there's a couple that I think got stolen at some point that I just don't care to replace. Because I think Super Street Fighter 2 got stolen at some point, and I don't care enough to go after that game again. At least for a physical cartridge. That was too early. Oh yeah, I remember one of the reasons why I had brought up hanging out and watching Used Pizza play random ass video games past couple of days. He's got a command in his chat that's !game, and it says, you know, hey, insert username, you know, hash user or whatever it is. Your next speed game is such and such. And it pulls like a random game from... I don't know how big his list is, But I mean, he's got like a bunch of like PC games, Steam games, console games, handheld games on this list. And whenever I use the command, I get interesting results. I think the last time I did it, I got Metal Warriors. It's like, hey, Sir Lewis X, your next speed game is Metal Warriors. And if I'm remembering right, that's a Super Nintendo, like, mech game, and it's cool as hell. Also, during one of his streams over the past week or so, everyone's favorite Sega CD game, Panic, definitely came up a couple times. I was excited to see that. I do know of a handful of other people on Twitch that have played Panic that really like it. Obviously, there's our guy, Stuff is Stuff, that has the console record. And he has changed his handle. I think he's Drifting Atoms. Drifting ATOMS. I think that's the guy. And then I know Great Gildersneeze played through Panic at least once because he played it for his channel. What am I doing? Too busy talking. He played it for his channel the night of the episode of Sunday Sequence Break that I submitted the record for Panic. Again, man, I am so upset that there was like some kind of hard drive crash or something that led to that episode of Sunday Sequence Break no longer existing. There's no audio of it, there's no video of it, and it's so upsetting. Because that was a really, really good episode of Sunday Sequence Break. There were a lot of really good records that were set. And that was the big draw of the show for me. Occasionally they would have some interesting guests on, and they would talk about the finer details of their chosen speedrun. I think like episode 3 or 4 of Sunday Sequence Break was Garrison and MSDS. So I was in Metroid heaven listening to these guys talk about the game. But the episode that I was on, I think MSDS had just set a record for Turok Dinosaur Hunter. PJ had just set a new record in NES Bionic Commando. And there were a handful of like other really cool games. But the one thing that I remember was that as soon as their intro was done and their mics went live, all you heard was all of the guys just giggling. And I just remember like smiling to myself and thinking, oh, I know why they're laughing. Probably has something to do with the game I submitted. Unfortunately, I didn't submit a video. I probably should have just told him to just watch the run, because it's only 4 minutes long. But it was also very not good quality. But it was kind of neat because they had all at least heard of the game, if not seen it before. But yeah, it's massively unfortunate that the moment that I was kind of vindicated for getting into speedrunning and streaming in general, that moment is just kind of gone. But this is what happens on the internet. And I don't think they ever had any kind of other backup. Like, I don't think they saved Twitch VODs. I don't think they uploaded them to YouTube. So, it is what it is. Let's see, I'm pretty sure Author Blues has played Panic. I just don't think I was around to see him do it. I know the Mexican Runner has played Panic. Obviously Frank-O-Matic, because it was Frank-O-Matic, one of his YouTube videos where I learned about Panic. I'm sure there's other people that have played it, but I don't think I can name drop anybody else that's played it. It would be really interesting to see someone play it for the very first time and not have a guide, but also to have patience with it. Because I can see Panic being a very frustrating game for a first-time player. Because they might not remember, like, which buttons they've pressed and which rooms they've already been to, and with that amount of stuff, it's really easy for all of it to just kind of start to run together in your head. It's a different beast than watching someone play Super Metroid for the first time. That's fun because a lot of times people will approach situations in Super Metroid differently than a seasoned player would. Or they would think to do things or try things that I wouldn't have thought to do or try in decades. Yo, best crabs, here we go. Panic is just, it's so different because the gameplay is... I don't want to say bare bones, because I don't... It's strange how you have to describe the gameplay of Panic. It is almost like a point-and-click adventure game, but it's trying to navigate your way through this museum of wild and wacky scenarios. You can also describe panic as just pushing buttons, and not just on your controller, on the screen. It should still work. Yep. There he goes. It's one dead ghost. Actually, I, s- I don't know if he's still streaming right now, but I did see Frankomatic streaming earlier. He was playing Sword of the Samurai. Not Way of the Samurai, Sword of the Samurai. Which is an old PC game that is kind of difficult to get your head around. At least more so than Way of the Samurai, which is one of my favorite PS2 games. Still can't remember if I've gotten all of the endings in that game. That would have been well before the era of me keeping track of what games I beat in a notebook. Oh, Tiny Man. Zora Tunic. Little Big Adventure. What a bizarre little couple of games. I remember watching some videos about Little Big Adventure, but I don't think I'm ever going to play it. Back from the era, once again, in the era of, I should say, before the era of semi-regular video game controls. And definitely from the era of like tank controls. Which I'm not a fan of tank controls, even when I'm playing a game as a tank. Might seem a little strange, but I think last game I played where you controlled a tank was Iron Impact on Steam. And that game is not around anymore. It's just one of those rare single-player games where it's like, man, I hope you downloaded it when it was available, otherwise you just don't get it. Like I've got I've got trading cards on Steam from that game, but I can't even sell them. Steam will just not let me put them on the market. I think the same thing happened to the Magical Silence, where that game is just like not around anymore. To be fair, that game was one part Fever Dream and the other part kinda fucked up. Although, the Magical Silence does have one of my favorite kind of surreal scenes from all of video games. There's a penguin and a polar bear that are sitting in a canoe on the water, and the bear is playing an acoustic guitar, and a very non-acoustic song is playing when you focus the camera on them. Or Goemon, please. Also, I think I need to head on to the, like the sprite development channel on whatever Super Metroid Randomizer Discord it is. Because I saw in a thumbnail, probably have to take a closer look at the video itself, but I saw in a thumbnail that someone has a Bart Simpson sprite for Super Metroid. And it's not on the Various site. So I'm gonna have to take a look-see. Although, at the same time, unless the various site gets their bugs figured out so that you can actually watch the opening cutscene again with the custom sprites, I kind of think I don't want to mess around with the new ones that much. I'm kind of good with the collection that I've got right now. Oh yeah. Olazuma! Man, I keep getting sidetracked with other stuff in my head, but going back to that that command from Use Pizza's chat telling you what your next speed game is going to be. I kind of thought of doing something like that, but instead it would function more like the fortune cookie on backloggery.com, where it would just... It wouldn't be like, oh, your new speed game is such and such, or, oh, hey, you now need to play this game. I was thinking if I did like an exclamation mark game command, it would just randomly name one game from my backlog, and I would inevitably try to say something about the game. Like whether or not I've beaten it, what I think of the game. But it also means I'd have to go through backloggery.com and make a long-ass text file containing the name of every single video game that I've got. And that would probably take a while. It would take a while just to list all of my PS2 games, because I had like just over 200 of those. And one of these days I need to make sure that I haven't left my PS2 sitting idle for too long, and that it actually still works. Or, fingers crossed, that I actually have a backwards compatible PS3. That was something I never understood like 10, 15 years ago. It's like, why would you not make your new consoles backwards compatible? Count was off by one. Well, there was actually something I had mentioned a time or two on stream that I was saying I had been meaning to check in on a certain game that I have on Steam, because I couldn't remember if the mobile version stopped working or the Steam version stopped working. The game is Disgaea RPG, and it's a straight up turn-based version of Disgaea instead of tactics. And unfortunately, it's the Steam version that doesn't work anymore. I don't know if it's just for me or if the game is just broken in general. Makes me wonder if the mobile version still works. Because I sank quite a few hours into that game. And I was even saying that Disgaea RPG is like my preferred way of playing through those stories with those characters. So I've always liked just straight up turn-based RPGs more than tactical RPGs. Hey, there's Firebat taking first with a 47-33. GG. Right. Here we go. Get that time pre-typed. Clunk. Come on, baby. Oops. It hit shift instead of enter. 5548, huh? Pretty close to what I had earlier. This one might actually cut the 58 a little bit. Either that or I'm on par to have the exact same time as the 9. Get out of here. 5756. GG. What are we, just 6 seconds apart from both runs? One second off from my other time? That sounds about right. You got it. That's the name of the game, consistency. being consistent is one kind of being good at something. Oh wow, StarCraft music isn't on cooldown and we didn't get it for the whole night. Wow. I don't think I can stretch for that many songs in order to get it played. We'll just have to hope it's there next week. Dear Force. I'd still be curious to know if Samus's outfit there is a one-piece or a two-piece. See you next mission. We done did it. We did it until it was done, and we done it until it was did. All right. That's going to wrap things up for me. Once again, I'd like to wish Ponk's son a happy first birthday. That was why we had to postpone Pokemon for the week. We should be back next week with more Gen 3 fun. And of course, a big thank you to Tillamorph and Insane Firebat for the races here tonight. Good fun was had. Good fun luck have. And for everybody else, thanks for stopping by, thanks for hanging out, thanks for watching, thanks for the squid slots. And I'll catch you next time. See ya!